So there's a lot of talk on the internet at the moment about the new HBO Max Harry Potter series that's coming out, and I'll be honest with you, ever since the announcement came out for this series, I have been very, very curious about it because I didn't really know how they were going to possibly match up to the original series. A series, as you can tell by my Deathly Hallows Joker and my sweatshirt, which I've had almost 10 years now, I am still quite a big Harry Potter fan, okay? Not quite as big as I was when I got these, I can't lie, like when I was a teenager. To be honest, I was quite late to the whole franchise. Like the first time I ever watched all the films all the way through, I was 14 years old. It was like a weird 2015 New Year's resolution that I made for myself, that I was going to watch all the Harry Potter films, and I did, and let me tell you, I fell into that fandom hard and fast, okay? And later on in that year was the first time I ever went to the studio tour in Watford, and since then I've been 2 more times. The last time was this last summer, and to be honest, it changed a lot, like, because the time I went previously to that was like 2017, and it changed a lot since then, but it was still incredible, and I love all of the magic that went into it, and by magic I mean like all the practical effects and the makeup, and you know, all of the just the hard work and like pure British filmmaking expertise and mastery that went into making that franchise what it was, and the way it defined the 2000s in the UK and just all around the world, really, and like the early 2010s. I was so like, how on earth are they going to match this new series up to that? And so, because I'm trying to do more commentary style content on my channel, I decided that in today's video we're gonna actually compare the 2 trailers. Obviously, I'm going to be comparing the first trailer that came out for the HBO Max series, because I know there's another one come out like since then. There's been a few sort of behind the scenes clips and stuff, obviously, because we're in the age of social media now, so they get to post whatever they want all the time. And we're going to compare that first trailer to the original Philosopher's Stone 2001 film trailer, because surprisingly, when I was watching the first trailer, I was like, I feel like this is probably going to be quite similar to the first trailer. And yeah, I was right. It's basically the exact same format, which I was quite surprised about. And I feel like you can really tell what to expect just comparing the two in terms of just vibe and atmosphere, and I don't know, we're going to be judging it just a little bit. And overall, there's just a lot to be said about the difference between how film and TV is made, like was made now 25 years ago versus now. There's a very vast difference, and that's why it adds to kind of my skepticism about the HBO Max series. But anyway, so we're going to be starting out with the original 2001 trailer, and then we're going to be watching the new HBO trailer, and again, we're just going to be having a bit of a chit chat about what we can possibly expect and why they're so different, and we'll probably get a lot of things wrong. Now, of course, with the HBO Max series, as we're going to be talking about later when we watch that trailer, there's a lot of talk about the fact that they're going to be able to expand on the books way more, like it's going to be way more book accurate this time around, which, okay, fair enough. We know things like Peas the Poltergeist was taken out of the original 2001 film because of budget. There's a whole story behind that, isn't there? Which I'm sure those who are in the Harry Potter fandom already know about. And I have also seen a reel recently on Instagram from the HBO like Harry Potter account talking about like some of the special effects that's going into this, which we're going to be talking about. And yeah, so without any further ado, let's start out with the hang on a minute. Pause. I was testing this earlier and it was still stuck on the on what I had it on before, so I just had to restart that capture just there. But yeah, we're going to be starting out with the 2001 trailer, and we're just going to see what kind of magic they were able to capture with this trailer. If you haven't actually seen this before as well, this will be very interesting, because this was the first time that I'd actually watched the trailer as well, when I was doing the comparison and thinking about this video. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. Immediately, hang on a minute. Let's just stop there a second, because immediately we're in with John Williams' incredible score for the first 3 films. Yes, it was the first 3 films. That little teaser of Hedwig's theme for what people could expect from the music for this was incredible. Again, let's just talk about the original franchise for a second, because the way they were able to get so many like really famous and really like great British actors for this franchise, and all of these young actors were introduced to them at such a young age, is still baffling to me. Like, even when I first watched these films when I was 14, I didn't even really realize like what significance a lot of these actors had. It is crazy, like, and then the way you get into the franchise and then you learn like just how significant and how much of a milestone this was just for British cinema and British like film culture is just insane. It's so good. But anyway, let's go to Harry in Ollivanders.
Anything you couldn't explain?
Let's turn the captions off.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Okay, stop. Wait. Another icon, Robbie Coltrane. Let's talk about Hagrid for a second, okay? Robbie Coltrane was Hagrid. R.I.P. to Robbie Coltrane, okay, as Hagrid, because you just can't, and this, obviously he's not the only character where it's like, okay, nobody can really be Hagrid apart from this character, apart from this actor, you know? We're going to be talking about Snape in a minute. Obviously, that's another big conversation that's been happening around the HBO Max series, but oh my god, the energy that actor brought to this role, and the way in the reunion it was so close to him passing away as well. So the way he was like, you know, I'm so glad that I was able to bring Hagrid to life, and he's going to be alive for so many generations down to come. Of course, I won't be there for it, but I'm sure that was so heartbreaking. And of course, he died like not long after that. So just to acknowledge just Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid, just there, just right there, just. And all, just, yeah, we get it.
I'm a what?
I'm a what? You're a fucking wizard.
Dear Mr. Potter, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
In a few moments, you will pass through these doors and join your classmates.
R.I.P.
Keep an eye on the staircases. They like to
They
change.
like to change. Oh my god. He can sing, by the way. The guy who played Percy, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head, but I know a few years ago he's been doing like a lot of musical theatre recently. Like he did some, like he started a YouTube channel I think in lockdown, and he was doing like a few covers of like songs. I think he did one song, Glory, from Rent, which is one of my favourite musical theatre songs like of all time, and it was actually pretty good. So after the guy who played Percy, like, pretty cool. But yeah, again, like the moving stairs, I mean, to be honest, I think out of all the effects, this is probably the one they're going to be able to recreate the easiest, because obviously CGI and stuff has progressed like so much more since they were making these films, but so it's like a lot easier. They have to, like, it's a lot less effort for them, whatever. But yeah, just like such an iconic moment.
Good afternoon,
also
class.
notice as well, I have a little owl necklace on. I got this at the Northern Vegan Festival, and I just thought I'd put it on for this video because I had to put my Deathly Hallows choker on, and then it just going with the Harry Potter vibe. But yeah,
Welcome to your first flying lesson. Stick your right hand over the
love her
boom
yellow
and
eye,
say,
like her yellow eyes in this.
Wow. Mr. Longbottom, exactly where do you think you're going?
Do you really have the...
See, okay, this is one of the moments
Wicked.
exactly, right? And before we get into Snape, Alan Rickman, amazing. This is one of the moments we're going to compare versus, like, the HBO trailer, because the way I cringed, I'm sure we've all seen the trailer, but, like, the way I cringed when it was like, we're going to talk about it when we're watching it, but I was like, oh god, no. It's Gen Z. It's like young Gen Z and Gen Alpha, like, infiltrating this franchise. It says, and elder Gen Z, who doesn't really associate herself with younger Gen Z, but anyway. But yeah, let's go into Alan Rickman as Snape, okay? He's another character who is Snape? And I'm sorry, I know, listen, I'm going to join the discourse when we're watching that other trailer being like, they should not have changed the race. They should not change the race because it's one of the only characters who specifically is described as like pale and like ghostly and just like, you know, like you have an image in your head and it's not a black guy. I'm sorry, right? But Alan Rickman, again, R.I.P. It's been 10 years since he died. Isn't that crazy? And he just is Snape. I'm sorry. Like, we all know, obviously, Snape's storyline. And I just... I fear that this new guy is not going to have the same impact that Alan Rickman did. It's just... Can you tell I'm, like, really scared about this HBO Max series? Because, like, it's just the magic and the aura is just, it's just not going to be the same.
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
First years should note that the dark forest is strictly forbidden, that no magic's to be used between the classes in the corridor.
Not Oliver Wood looking in the completely wrong direction. That is such a famous meme in the fandom, isn't it? Why couldn't they have just told him to, like, at least look vaguely in the right, like, come on. Poor Oliver Wood. Also, Oliver Wood, trade. Oliver Wood is trade, okay? Let's be honest. If we were, like, cast your mind back to when you were, like, a teenager and you were watching these, like, at least for me, like, when I was watching the films for the first time, I was very much in, like, my, like, celebrity crush phase, and the first one was Oliver Wood, definitely, okay, and then later on, when we got to Half-Blood Prince, that is when my Tom Felton, Draco Malfoy little obsession began, okay? Listen, and as an actor, actually, let's go back to the chatting screen for a second. Tom Felton, can we just appreciate how loyal he is to this fandom? As much as, like, the others, I think, have grown out of their, I don't want to be associated with, like, stop asking me about Harry Potter face, but the one who has truly stayed by the franchise is Tom Felton. And obviously, if you guys don't know, he's reprising his role as Draco on Broadway at the moment, and he's actually just extended his run, which I think is brilliant. And the way, like, his relationship with Jason Isaacs, they're still, like, father and son, it's so cute. I have so much respect for Tom Felton, because if you've been in the Tom Felton stan fandom for, like, at least, like, the past 10 years, you know, like, the amount of shit that guy's gone through. Like, obviously he left the Harry Potter franchise with, like, his long-term girlfriend that he met. He was an extra on the show, and then that whole broke apart, and I feel like he had, like, a bit of a, because he's been doing, like, kind of, like, indie films and some stuff over the years. Like, there was a film I remember dragging my parents to in 2017 that was basically, he was a centurion around the time of Jesus' crucifixion, which was, like, it was actually pretty good. I can't remember what the actual, it was called Risen. It was called Risen. If you guys are Christian, you just want, like, it's just been Easter, you know, if you guys want kind of a Easter themed film to watch that's got Tom Felton in it that was actually pretty good, then watch Risen. And he's done, like, a few, like, small projects here and there. He was in some, like, spacey type YouTube original film a few years ago, but which, you know, as an actor he's pretty decent, but he's kind of been staying under the radar. He's done, like, his music, if you know, he stayed with his dogs, like, his Instagram's dead wholesome, it's just, like, him and his dogs and stuff, and I just feel like he deserves a lot of respect, and I feel like people do respect him, but yeah, he's been very loyal to the franchise, and he is very unapologetic about it, and it's been great for marketing. It's been great for his career. And I just love that actually both him and Daniel Radcliffe have done are actually on Broadway at the same time at the moment, I'm pretty sure. Like, Daniel Radcliffe, can we just talk about? I mean, let's go back to Harry. That's a terrible screenshot, I'm sorry. It's a terrible freeze frame. But, like, Daniel Radcliffe can sing, bro. I mean, we've been knowing this since pretty much being, like, straight after the franchise ended, because he was doing, what was it? It's How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. That was the musical he was in at first. That man can dance and sing. We did not know this until he like kind of broke out, and he's a theater man. He's a theater man, and he's been doing really well. So yeah, just a little bit of a a little bit of a segue there, but yeah, let's carry on.
Petrificus totalis.
The first floor corridor is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to suffer a most painful death.
Understand this, Harry, because it's very important. Not all wizards are good.
I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Or worse, expelled.
Oh, not me doing my Harry Potter. If you guys want to laugh, I might link this in the video. Back in like 2015, I think it was like 2015, like maybe it was 2016. If you want like a really cringe video of me as a teenager, I did a Harry Potter impressions video because at the time I was really obsessed with quite a lot of like Harry Potter kind of type YouTubers, Brizzy Voices and Tessa Netting, if you know, you know. And I decided to do like a Harry Potter impressions video because there was a big, like still like quite a big Harry Potter boom like in the 2010s. The Harry Potter fandom was like still quite big, especially on YouTube. We had like quite a lot of YouTubers who were doing a lot of Harry Potter stuff, and obviously since then they've distanced themselves from the franchise quite a lot because of J.K. Rowling. We know. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I did like a Harry Potter. To be fair, my Hermione impression was pretty good in that video. I feel like I remember I remember being really proud of myself for that. That and my Luna Lovegood impression was pretty good as well. Who did I do? I did obviously Hermione, Luna. I did Petunia, and I did Umbridge, and I also did Bellatrix. I don't remember if I did anybody else. I think I might have done Dobby just because I feel like a lot of people were doing Dobby. And I like pretty much stole all the lines I was doing from that Brizzy Voices video. And just like the lines that everyone was using. But I'm pretty sure I did like this specific scene when she goes, that's why I did that's why I was saying it along. But like, she needs to sort out her priorities, which is what Ron's about to say.
She needs to sort out her priorities.
I think it is clear that we can expect great things from you.
Yes. Harry Potter the Philosopher's Stone. There's an owl. Completely unrelated owl. Magic figurines. Yes! Oh. To have been a millennial. Okay, so that was the original trailer, okay? To have been a millennial during that time, the way I would have... if I could go back in a time machine, okay, I would have been born in like 1989, so something like that. Okay, I would have been born in like 1991, around that time. Okay, because the way I would have been living my best life if I was during this era. Okay, and listen, I do not regret when I got into the Harry Potter franchise. Okay, it was still quite peak Harry Potter. I still had, I had friends who were really into it. It was still, obviously I was in high school. I was like year 9. It was still like a pretty big thing to like be into Harry Potter. It was still like a really cool thing to do. So I don't regret it. But my God, to have been able to, and also to have been like living down south and had the opportunity to be an extra in these films. The way, also, do you guys remember, this is like really like niche internet lore. Zoella, do you remember when Zoella made that video? I think it was like a get to know me tag or something back in like 2013, something like that, where she said that she was an extra in the first 2 films, but you can't see her. She was like what was she? She was a Slytherin in film 2, and she was like a Hufflepuff in year 1, I think she said. I don't know. Everyone's gonna be going back to Zoella's channel to try and find that video now. And for some reason, like, again, this is like all the signs that I've been getting to make this video, but there's a girl who's been popping up on my Instagram as well, who was an extra. Like, well, it wasn't just an extra. She was Hermione's stunt double for the first 3 films. So she's been giving like all like the tea and the stories about, like, because she has like quite a few photos with Tom Felton as Draco, like, well, not as Draco, but like, outside filming, and he's got like his blonde hair and stuff, and everyone's like, "Whoa, are they dating?" And then obviously there's the whole thing about Emma really fancying Tom, like, in the first, like, 2 films, but we all know, like, how deep that lore goes, so obviously, like, it's been really cool, and she's been really, so, you know, so it's just really interesting, and again, I really enjoyed going to the studio tour. I really enjoy seeing, like, all behind the scenes and the magic and everything, so it's been just really interesting and cool to, like, watch that. But anyway, so that was the first trailer, and as you could see, there was no narration. The only narration was like the lines actually from the, like, just scenes, like just dialogue, and it must have been so mind-blowing to have had that trailer come out back in 2001 for those who were, like, diehard Harry Potter fans, because it was like, wow, this is, like, actually think this is, you know, this is what it's going to be like. It must have been so magical, literally, because it's Harry Potter, to have seen this, like, and be like, oh my god, it's coming to life, and we have all these, like, iconic moments from the books and whatever, and there's Fluffy, the 3-headed dog at the end, you know, and, like, Snape was so perfectly cast, and, like, oh, it's so good. And all to be much, like, pretty much I could say this, like, quite confidently, all the casting for the original franchise, for the original films, was so perfectly done. It was so good. Obviously, R.I.P. to the legends who now we no longer have in that series. Obviously, Richard Harris played Dumbledore for the first 2 films, obviously died at the end of the second one, and that's when we got Michael Gambon, also R.I.P. He's not here. He's not with us anymore. Dame Maggie Smith, obviously not with us anymore. R.I.P. Alan Rickman, Robbie Coltrane, John Hurt as Ollivander as well. Those who were Doctor Who stans as well will also acknowledge that as well, because he died not long after the 50th anniversary as well. I think it was, like, in around 2014, 2013. So that was pretty significant for those who crossover fandoms, obviously. But yeah, that is the trailer. Now, you're gonna notice such a stark difference from that versus the new trailer, and I want you to guess what I'm going to say as we go to this next trailer. Okay, first of all, immediately, even with the logo, okay, what is now listen, I have my own personal beef with HBO at the moment. This is completely unrelated, but they've stolen Friends. They've stolen Friends off Netflix. This is another fan I'm quite a big fan of, is Friends. I'm a quite a big Friends fan, because ever since I started watching that, which I was around 16 when I first started watching Friends, and then ever since then it's become my comfort show. Like, no matter what I'm going through in life, especially in my late teens, like when I was in university, it was something that I would always go back to as, like, a comfort show, and it would always make me feel better, always. And yeah, HBO Max has it now. It's no longer on Netflix, even though it was there for years and years. It's no longer there. Absolutely devoed. Absolutely devastated. And yeah, so I have my own personal beef with HBO because they nicked Friends. To be honest, the only good thing that I think HBO has ever done, apart from Friends, I guess, is Game of Thrones. I'm watching Game of Thrones with my boyfriend at the moment for the first time, because I didn't watch it all the way through. I watched bits of it, like clips, because I was, like, a teenager. I had friends who were my age, but were watching it. But I was not in the household where that would have been an acceptable thing for me to be doing. So, and I was also just incredibly sheltered, and just felt like I was going to go to hell if I watched Game of Thrones, which could be a topic for another video. But, so I'm watching it for the first time. So anyway, I watched, like, clips all, like, throughout when it was coming out, and, like, bits that my friends would tell me, and then I watched the last series that came out in 2019. Apart from the last episode, because everyone said it was terrible, and I'm not looking forward, because I'm really enjoying watching it for the first time. We're on season 5 at the moment, and so I'm not looking forward to actually watching the last episode, because I know it's a letdown, because people at the time said it was a letdown. And it's been really good so far. Like, I understand the hype. I understand why it defined the 2010s. Like, that show is incredible. It pushed so many boundaries. It went across so many lines. If you guys are, like, fans of Game of Thrones, like I said, we're on season 5 at the moment. And all I'm going to say is, like, as to where we're at, at like the level of trauma that we've that we've witnessed. Okay, Stannis' daughter. That's all I'm gonna say. Stannis' daughter. Enough said. Anyway, but that little rant over. Fuck you, HBO, for taking away friends. But right, so this is gonna be the HBO immediately, and this is something we're gonna talk about. Look how clean this is. Look how clean this is versus the way the like the sort of raw element, like the interesting elements of the original one versus this. It's night and day. It is, and it's not good. Also, 2 weeks ago this was released. 10 million views. You can't quite see that because that's the way I've cropped the screen. 10 million views, and it got that in not that long. Not that long. Like it's insane. Versus, I mean, this is the Rotten Tomatoes one, but this has 6.7 views, and this was loaded 12 years ago, and then this is 10 million views 2 weeks ago. I mean, to be honest, that's just the age of social media, I think, but. Insane. But anyway, HBO Max series. Remember the format of the original trailer versus this. Let's go.
I told you. You are a normal boy. And you're going to start acting like one.
Okay, so this is a book moment. For those who've read the book, I haven't read all the books, don't come for me. I did read the first 3, though, and half of the 4th one, and I kept having to restart the 4th one because I get bored. I was like 15, but we're going to ignore that. But this is a book moment. Obviously, in the book, before he even goes to Hogwarts, there's quite a few chapters of him literally just being with the Dursleys and then like going to school, getting bullied a lot. There's a lot more about Dudley bullying him, and later on we're going to see the scene of him like cutting his hair, which again is another book moment. So here's my thing with the book moment, and I understand why they cut it out of the original film, because it's not really needed. Like, you can already tell the fact that they're teasing that this is going to be a thing, that we're not going to get the letter to Hogwarts in the first episode. It's probably going to be like episode 2 or 3 when he actually gets the letter from Hogwarts. Like, I'm just predicting that right now. But already, do you see... I mean, you can kind of see the way they've sort of tried to mimic sort of the dark, moody vibes of the Harry Potter franchise, but... Which I guess, like, at this moment, obviously he's not had his Hogwarts letter yet, so... I guess the colour grading they're trying to do is, like, this is when he's not doing well. This is kind of when he's figuring out that he's, like, not the same and he's getting, like, abused and stuff. So it's, like, trying to be, like, all sad and stuff. But it doesn't hit the same.
You think you're something special?
Why is she blonde? I don't understand.
There is nothing special about you.
And then there's the letter. Game of Thrones.
I've always wanted to know about my parents.
Your parents were the kindest, bravest people I ever met. They were funny.
Why is his voice like that? This is another thing. Why is his voice like that? He's trying to be Robbie Coltrane, but he's not. He's trying to do that sort of like Somerset, almost like farm guy, like kind of accent. We all know, right? And it's just not hitting the same. It's so in and out. It's not. If you're gonna commit to that, commit to it. Don't just be all. I hate when people try and do this. It just doesn't hit.
And clever. And they stood up for what they believed was right.
Also, the captions are on again, which I don't care about.
The next time I see you, will be in Hogwarts.
Okay, so do you notice that little scene? First of all, they've used completely different scenes to like the original trailer. Okay, fair enough. But it's a similar format. This is what I was trying to say. It's like a similar format. I'm sorry, the lighting is now changing because the sun's gone behind a cloud. We're just gonna deal with that. But the way the format is the same in that it's just scenes with dialogue, right? I've gone so dark. I'm sorry. I am still here. Hello. Okay, we're waiting for the sun to go back out. But it's that same thing where they're just letting the narration of the scenes take you through the trailer. But also you notice they've got just some like generic adventure-y type music behind this, which again, like we were talking about the bit of Hedwig's theme that we were getting for the original trailer, it just added so much more of like a whimsy, mysterious kind of magical vibe that's what you were expecting from Harry Potter. This is what you were expecting. And if they're gonna do it again, which obviously they're doing, you want that same vibe. You want that same vibe. You want that same whimsy, because that's what Harry Potter is about. It's about magic. It's about whimsy. Yes, there's a bit of danger involved, but they don't really get into some real danger until, like, Prisoner of Azkaban, right? Chamber of Secrets, okay, like, people are getting petrified. It's, you know, there are some things that happen that are quite serious. But until we get to Prisoner of Azkaban, which is, like, when, like, shit really goes down, it's light, it's whimsy, it's warm. That's the thing. That's I'm sure we've all seen like those memes where it's like how the color grading changes throughout the films in the original series, and there's such like an orange sort of warm vibe to the first film. Like the second film's a little bit cooler, but it's like it's still got that sort of first two film warmth type deal, versus as soon as you get to Prisoner of Azkaban, obviously Prisoner of Azkaban is like blue. Everything is cold, everything is, you know, because the Dementors are in it, everything's sucked, like all the happiness is sucked out of it because the Dementors are around. And then you've got there's a more of like a green tone to Goblet of Fire, isn't there? You get a little bit more warmth with Order of the Phoenix because it's more of like a sort of pink vibe because obviously Umbridge. But overall, like the vibe just becomes way darker, and then you've got Half-Blood Prince, which is of course is again kind of that really dark, moody. There's quite a lot of green tones in there, and that continues then on to Deathly Hallows. And then if you slice them up and put them all next to each other, like you can see the progression of the story with the color grading, which is one of my favorite elements about the original franchise, actually. And they're not doing it with this. You can already tell. You can already tell the vibe is just not going to be the same. Which again is where I'm thinking, how are they going to make it the same? Like, this is when it was first announced. This is what I was saying. How are they going to make it match up to the original franchise? And if they're not at least adding that element in, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? But anyway, let's carry on with this. So dark,
Mr. Potter, I think we can expect great things from you. Let's see who you are.
Also, why do the brooms look like that? Wait, no, I didn't notice that in the first one. Wait. No, we have to go back. We have to go back and look at that.
Let's see who you are.
I think, well, obviously this is before he gets his Nimbus 2000, isn't it? But I think it is. Because why does his broom look so generic? Why is it one of those flat, like, sweepy ones? Because at least in the original film, obviously it wasn't a Nimbus 2000 yet, but at least it was a broom. At least it was an actual broom. At least it was an actual, like, streamlined broom. It wasn't just a flat thing. What the hell? I didn't notice that the first time. That's crazy. Oh my god. Why are they in herbology in the first? No. Oh. This is another thing I didn't clock when I watched it the first time. Also, the lighting is gone again. I'm sorry. Why? Why are they in herbology in the first one? Oh, mate. Maybe I'm just missing a book element, but the herbology doesn't come into it until Chamber of Secrets because of the mandrakes. It's an important plot point. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead already. This is what I mean. Like, they're messing it up. Unnecessary. Just so unnecessary. Snape mention. Wait, Snape mention. Where is it? Oh wait, no, it's not too bad. Wait. There. Shit. Hi, John Lithgow. Okay, right. Snape. We have to talk about Snape. Obviously, we didn't get a lot of, we just got one facial expression with a wand wave, and that was it, okay? But my god. Which, again, doesn't tell us a lot. It doesn't really tell us a lot, but I'm just so nervous about Snape. Out of everything about this that they've got wrong or dodgy so far, I'm so nervous about Snape. I am so nervous about Snape. Because, again, they're not just... Listen, this is no discredit to the actor. It's like when Jodie Whittaker got cast as Doctor Who, or Ncuti Gatwa got cast as Doctor Who. I had the same attitude then as I do with this. Don't blame the actor for being put up for a role, okay? If an actor's being put up for a really big role that they know is well loved and they know is well appreciated, then of course they're going to jump at it. If they're going to be given the opportunity to go, hey, here you go, here's a role, they're going to go, oh really? They're allowed to do that? Wait, I could be part of this? Okay, hell yeah. So if the studio specifically put out an advertisement that they wanted to race bend Snape because they wanted to be woke, I guess, then don't blame the actor for going for that. And he has defended him being cast in this role on Twitter, X, whatever. He's like, I want to bring my own spin to the role. I hate when people say that. This is a pet peeve as well, just with actors in general. Don't say, oh, I'm going to bring my own spin to a beloved character. Don't do that. Again, I'm comparing this to Doctor Who at this point. But when Doctor Who was first, let's go back to the chatting thing, so it's just me, right? Hi. When Christopher Eccleston got cast as Doctor Who in 2005, and the reboot started, okay, they cast really good actors for that role. And here's the thing. Here's something that it talked about quite a lot in my house. Christopher Eccleston was able to take the canon lore that we were given about the Doctor Who fandom, like the canon pre 2005 about Time War, Time Lords have gone, all that stuff. He was able to take that into those and also they were just really well written. Who knows what planet Russell T Davies is on nowadays with his Disney Ncuti Gatwa era, because it's not the same man. It's not the same man. I've been rewatching Doctor Who. I've been showing Doctor Who, like fully Doctor Who, with my boyfriend because he'd not really seen a lot of like the David Tennant. Like he'd not seen all of them. He'd seen like a lot of them, but he hadn't seen all of them. So I was like, okay, we need to, because it was a really big part of my childhood. So we've been rewatching them, and at least the first season is really well written. And even the second season's also really well written, and like the fourth season as well. And the third season was, but the fourth season, bye son. The fourth season was really good, and we're really close to Turn Left, Stall No 30's End, if you know, you know. And I'm really excited to show my boyfriend those episodes because they are my favourite of all time. But the point being is that the best thing about Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant as Doctor Who was, yes, they brought their own thing to the role, but they were still keeping to the canon. They were still keeping to what we'd known and loved, and they still felt like Doctor Who. Matt Smith was okay. Peter Capaldi brought it back because he was a long-time fan of the show. We all know this. And then we had Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa, and just no, okay? Completely different show. And that was partly on the writers, but it was also partly just on the actors. And I'm just being so for real there. But anyway, what I'm saying with that is, I think they both also said, like, oh, I'm really excited to bring my own thing to the role and take it in a new direction. And it's like, no, it doesn't need to be. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Why are you bringing something new to a role that doesn't need fixing? I am so sorry I've gone so dark again. The weather is... the sun doesn't know what it wants to do. But anyway, all that to say this. When I saw those tweets from this guy who's playing Snape, I was like, oh no. Listen, if he could be inspired by Alan Rickman, sure, brilliant. But we all know at this point that he's probably not going to, so... Again, I'm just nervous because he's the most important... Look, fuck Harry Potter for a minute. He is the most important character in the Harry Potter franchise, period. Right? So, like, aside from maybe Dumbledore and Harry, maybe. And maybe Draco. The rest of them can fuck off. But Snape is the one thing that at the end of the day, at the end of the story, brings everything together. He's the one where you're like, oh my god, everything makes sense now. You know? So this is why it annoys me so much. John Lithgow as Dumbledore, actually, I'm not mad at that casting. I feel like he might actually be okay, but we'll see.
Are you really Harry Potter?
No! No! That's not how you do it! This is what I was talking about before with the original trailer. Okay. When we got to that scene in the original trailer, this is what I was talking about. Also, I love how they put that at the end versus the original trailer. It was kind of in the middle, wasn't it? But this is what I mean, like, and he doesn't even show the scar. Like, you're meant to go, you know, he just went, I mean, obviously, maybe when the actual scene comes out, it's going to be a little bit more dragged out than that, but my god, please, why? You're meant to go like that, show the scar, and then you can do that, maybe, but he just goes, or at least if he actually does move his hair like that, show that in the thing, so then you're recreating an original thing. This is the thing, you've gotta bring, I know you're bringing the new fans in, hey HBO, you're not watching this, but I know that you're trying to bring new fans in to the franchise, but you could do that just as well with the original thing. Oh, hey, the sun's back. You could do that just as well with the original films. We didn't need this. We did not need this. But especially when they're not bringing the same... Obviously, they're not going to bring the same vibe. They're different actors. It's fine. They're allowed to bring their own thing to the role. Fine. Fair enough. But my god. Please save me. Oh my god, it irks me so much because I love the original franchise so much, and like I was saying, you know, it is just such a pinnacle of just British film excellence that this is just... I dropped my microphone, that's how disgusted I am, and but this is what I mean, it's not the same. Okay, let's let it end, and then we'll talk about it more. What is that? What is that for alert? Okay, I'm sorry. No, we have to go back. I'm sorry. First of all, what is this music? Again, what is this music? Okay, I'm sorry. We've only got a crop thing. That is not a Harry Potter logo. That is not. They have bastardized the damn thing. Also, what is that? Also, just as a disclaimer, I'm a graphic designer, so if I see anything janky, I'm going to be like, this is terrible. What is that generic font at the bottom? What is that? What is this bastardized generic... I could make that in 2 seconds in Photoshop and maybe like After Effects. Like, what are we doing? At least with the original one, there was a lot more of like I love that sort of like really pointed bevel that we get with the original logo. Okay, this is it's flat. Yes, they've made it shiny. Sure, they put a text thing into After Effects, they made it shiny, they added a light point, that was it, and then they put some generic font at the bottom. They made it the same as the HBO logo. Oh my god, I got lip gloss on my microphone, that's how mad I am. This is crazy. What is that? What are we doing here, HBO? What are we doing here? Christmas 2026. It's gonna be terrible. I can already tell. Oh my god. But also, and then plans start at $10.99 a month. This again is another thing that just shows the kind of era and the times that we're in. Not only, let's go back a minute. Let's find a screenshot that really shows this off. Okay. Do they have a moment in the original trailer where he's in the train station? No, they don't, because they realized that it wasn't relevant to put in the original trailer because it's way more of Hogwarts. And look at this, right? Okay, do you see? You can probably see. Even if I just do... Okay, actually, let's do that, because there was a moment in the Great Hall, wasn't there? It takes so long for them to actually get to Hogwarts as well. Let's be... Okay, where is... Is there a Great Hall moment? There isn't even is there a Great Hall moment? There's not even a Great Hall moment. Oh my god, it's so dark and dreary. Right, we've got McGonagall saying, hey, you're about to go into the Great Hall. We've got that. I'm guessing that's that's their first lesson, right? Okay, where's a moment that I can compare here? Right, so there's McGonagall saying that... Actually, wait, let's compare that moment, because... Yeah, so that's when they're going in. Right, let's get Dame Maggie Smith up here. Right, okay. Let's get Dame Maggie Smith versus... Right, do you see the difference here? I mean, obviously the quality is not the same, because that was 2001 and we're talking 2026. But do you see what I'm talking about with the warmth and, like, there's an inviting sense into the colour grading of the first film, because it's a welcome, it's an introduction to the franchise, it's an introduction to Harry and everybody, and an introduction to their new wizarding lives. Okay, so of course the whole film is very warm. It's very, no matter, even when they're in like a dangerous situation, like the library, like he's trying not to get caught by Filch, and even then there's a real warmth to it. There's like a whimsy. Versus this, you can barely see her face. You can barely see her face. You can barely see her face. And this is the thing with the colour grading throughout, as you've probably noticed. It's so dark. It's so dark. It's terrible. It's honestly, and this is the thing now, and I feel like, I think this moment's meant to be maybe potions? What is this as a classroom? Can we just appreciate the absolute... No. But let's even go to... Because Snape's scary. Wait, where is scary Alan Rickman? Where is scary Alan Rickman? There he is. Ta-da! Hey. Oh, like, let's go to... Right, so this is a similar moment, right? With the classroom, which I'm guessing is the same scene. Do you see how much more... Again, like, Snape is meant to be intimidating and scary. That's the whole point of his character, first of all. Especially in the first film, my god. But let's see... Again, there's that warmth. Even though you're getting it from the actor, that it's like, oh, he's intimidating, and, like, this is mysterious. I remember when I first watched the film being like... I watched the first, like, 2 films, like, quite a few times before I actually watched all of the films all the way through. And I remember being kind of, like, scared of Snape. He embodied, like, all the teachers at school I was absolutely terrified of. Like, really well. And so I didn't even need, like, necessarily colour grading to even be... But there was a way that even the colour grading was done, the atmosphere that was done, that was still very immersive. That's another thing, taking it again back to Doctor Who, there was something about that kind of, even though Doctor Who is, like, science fiction... And just the way that it was done, just in that, like, anything was done in that era overall, was very, like, you felt within the way it was filmed and the colour grading and the way that it was coloured, that you could be there. It was so much more immersive. Like, it felt so much more like, at least for me, because I'm just, like, very much a visual person, it felt so much more like you could have actually been there. You know? Like, it actually felt like, oh, you could... You know what I mean? Like, you could see yourself in their shoes. Like, you're there with them because of how the colour grading was done. I don't know if it's just me and my, like, neurodivergent as fuck brain. Does anybody else feel like this when it comes to colour grading? Because anything now, and it doesn't matter if it's a film that I watch now or whatever... it takes you out of it so much because it is so clean and so dark and so poignant, not in a way that feels natural. It feels, and obviously, like, we're talking about magic, it's not meant to be natural, right? But, like, the way that it feels like a film, it feels like a TV show. I think that's, am I making any sense? Like, this is what I mean when I say this. It is crazy how we've changed, and I don't know when this changed. I feel like it changed around kind of the end of the 2010s, but we were going there throughout the 2010s anyway. Like, going back to Game of Thrones, like, you don't want to be in that world, let's be honest, but, like, there's no way that you can really feel like you're really in there the same as you would if it was filmed, say... I mean, again... Game of Thrones is not really meant to be immersive, is it? In the same way as, like, something like Harry Potter or Doctor Who. But, like, there's something about the way that it's filmed and the color grading again that's just something changed, something shifted in the air, and now we're in the 2020s. It's 2026, and this is what we're doing things like. It's just not the same. Plus, this doesn't really look or feel as... It feels too magical as a classroom setting. Does that make sense? That's the first thing I thought when I saw the classroom setup, because obviously I've, again, been to the studio tour, and those who've even been to, like, the filming locations, like if you've been to Gloucester Cathedral, where they did a lot of the corridor scenes, the one in Chamber of Secrets, where, you know, Chamber of Secrets has been opened, Summit of the Air, Beware, whatever, In the Blood. We all know the scene. And then the same with Half-Blood Prince, when Harry and Ron are slacking off classes, and McGonagall's like, "Excuse me, do you want to be are you supposed to be wanting to be an aura, right? Go to potions with Slughorn. Go, off you go. With Ron, off you go." Like, that was filmed at Gloucester Cathedral. So even if you've been there, you know that, like, it at least feels... And again, I think, like, the fact that they use, like, actual locations and actual... Not that I'm saying they didn't use actual locations for this, but this is quite clearly a set, right? This isn't an actual place. And I feel like they use quite a lot of sets for this. I don't actually know, because obviously the potions classroom changes... again, like with Half-Blood Prince, like, it is an actual set, which again you can see if you go to the studio tour, and that's a set. But again, I don't know what it is about. Again, it's just the atmosphere of it all. It just feels, I don't want to say realistic, because again, it's like fantasy, it's meant to be magic, but I think if you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying, right? And this is why I just feel again that we didn't need this. We didn't need this because it's so dark and dreary as well. Let's go to the station real quick, like the tube station, and even like King's Cross and Platform 9 3/4. Like, what is this absolute... how washed out does that look? How washed out does that look? Do we all remember the Platform 9 3/4 scene from Philosopher's Stone the first time round? We all remember that, right? And we remember, again, that warmth, that invited, especially when they're meeting Molly Weasley for the first time with the Weasleys and how wholesome they are. And that was a whole vibe versus, like, I just... What are we doing? Don't modernize Harry Potter. It was fine. Again, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I feel like I could rant all day about this because it actually irks me so much. As somebody, again, who's like an elder Gen Z who... I mean, I should have probably got it with the franchise a bit earlier than I did, to be honest. But I was in it. And again, like, I've had this sweatshirt and this choker for like 10 years now. And I have like quite a few other bits of Harry Potter merch here and there. And again, I really enjoy still going to the studio tour. Again, I know a lot of people are very against even supporting the franchise at all because of J.K. Rowling. I feel like at this point, there's no way we're going to completely boycott the franchise, so there's no point, really. We can boycott J.K. Rowling, we can call her out for, you know, whatever, but you're still allowed to enjoy a franchise. You don't have to go around destroying and defacing copies of the book. Like, I saw some real... because it was like Trans Awareness Day a few weeks ago, and I saw somebody cover this bookshop that there were people there like specifically like, here's Harry Potter books, you can like deface them and like do graffiti in them or whatever. And I just think that's kind of pointless. It's just a bit petty, isn't it? Why don't you just go and do your avocation somewhere else and stop being so obsessed with J.K. Rowling? And maybe just enjoy a franchise that like defined a decade and defined a couple of generations. And obviously quite a lot of people are boycotting the HBO series for the same reason. I'm not going to boycott it. I'm still going to criticize it, but not because of J.K. Rowling. I'm just going to be criticizing it because HBO are probably going to do quite a naff job with this. I'm sorry. Am I sorry? No, because I'm very protective over the original cast and the original films and the original franchise. Like, I am what it is. Like, there's no way that they're going to be able to, like, extend the studio tour because of the HBO series, because it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. And here's another thing as well that I really liked about the original franchise, and also it's an element in the studio tour, based off a reel that I saw about this new series as well. go back to what I was saying about like the special effects and stuff, they use like actual animals. Now I don't know if this is a funding issue or whatever, but they use like actually like trained animals, like for the cat, like for Crookshanks, Hermione's cat, and Hedwig, and Fang, Hagrid's dog. There was quite a few Fang. Like there was a few animals that played those roles like throughout the films, right? And they, they trained them, they looked after them. It was really good. So there's like an element in the studio tour where there was like a board with all like the animals and like what films they were used on, like different like traits and like different descriptions of them, and kind of their little quirks and stuff, which I thought was really cute. And they're not at least I don't know if they're doing this, but I saw a reel where they were literally making animatronic rats and owls for this series. Now obviously, I mean, obviously Scabbers, Ron's rat, is in it from day one, I guess. So the rat is going to be an animatronic. And the owl I saw them making was a brown owl. It was like a tawny owl. So I don't know. And obviously Hedwig's a snowy owl. If they change Hedwig to a brown owl, I don't think they'll do that. They've done enough with Snape. I don't think they're going to do anything further by like changing Hedwig to not being a snowy owl. But anyway, if they do, I'm going to be big mad. But it was just an interesting thing for me to be like, so they're making animatronic animals. I mean, they looked really good. Like the rat the guy was holding was like, okay, that is a robot rat right there. That is a very realistic looking robot rat. Fair enough. So again, I'm not dissing necessarily the skills of the special effects team. I'm sure it's going to be the exact same. Obviously, I do actually really respect like the practical effects departments on films and stuff. I think they're really cool. And it's just one of those things where I think at the same time, I think I'm going to respect the original effects team more. Again, talking about the studio tour, it is one of my favourite elements of the tour, is going around that big room with all of the prosthetics, and like it's got the basilisk head, and it's got one of I almost said Highwing then. Can you tell I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy recently? The hippogriff Buckbeak, that's it. It's got like one of the Buckbeak lying down animatronics. So it's not like, obviously, like with the fantasy characters, obviously they did make animatronics of that, and obviously did extra in CGI. And they were also in that reel I saw about the HBO Max series, they were also building like a fantasy character. But it was just one of those things where I was like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. There are so many things about this that are rubbing me the wrong way. Because again, as a point I've said so many times in this video, if it's not broke, don't fix it. The original franchise had everything that you could ever want. Granted, again, with this HBO Max series, they are going to be exploring more of the book elements, which, okay, fair enough. But again, like when the fact that they spent so long in this first trailer, in the HBO trailer, with him at school and him like going to with Hagrid and like the station, it takes them so long to actually get to Hogwarts that I'm just thinking it's gonna drag. This shit's gonna drag so hard. Like it only just hit me, like I said when I was watching that the first bit of the trailer just then, it's probably not gonna he's not gonna actually get to Hogwarts till about episode 3. Which is gonna get so boring. Because obviously a lot of us will have just we'll be knowing the series already. We'll be watching this out of pure curiosity, and we're going to be bored so quickly. And I don't know if that's just because, again, like age of social media, our attention span's shorter, but it's just there's no again, just going back to this, like there's no colour to it, there's no warmth to it, there's nothing inviting you in other than the fact that it's a story you know well. And again, for the new people watching this, I fear that it's just not going to hit the same. It's not going to hit. Like, anyone out here who is thinking of, like, maybe showing their kids this new HBO series, I would highly recommend just starting them on the original films. Like, just watch the original films. Honestly, I mean, yeah, you can show them this as well, maybe, but be like, hey, you want to watch this? And then they're probably going to go, no, I'm fine with these original films. Like, Or like maybe as like a fun like experiment, be like, hey kids, do you want to like watch the HBO Max? Like now you've seen the original films, do you want to see how this holds up? Like let's do this as like a bonding time. Maybe, I don't know, just thinking off the top of my head. But like I can guarantee that kids are not gonna be so on this. Well, I don't know, because like the new age of kids is very iPad kid, isn't it? So maybe this whole sort of bland situation and like very clean looking media is obviously what they've grown up being used to, probably. So maybe it won't psychologically do that thing. But for those of us who are older, especially those who like actually are millennials who grew up with the original franchise, like we're gonna be devastated. Again, the sun is devastated. Even the sun is devastated about this because it keeps coming in and out. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I just kind of wanted to make this because I do want to start doing kind of more reaction, more commentary style videos on this channel, because we've done a lot of chit-chatty videos on this channel like over the years anyway, and you know, it's just something that I feel like is just going to be a fun thing for us to do. The sun is blessing this, thank you, and amen Lord. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my other videos, of course. Let me know your thoughts about the new HBO Max series and the trailers and all the stuff that's been coming out. Let me know your thoughts on the casting as well, like Snape. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you disagree with what I'm saying? Leave all your thoughts and let's have a good old big discussion in the comments section. All my social media, as always, will be linked in the description, and I will see you guys in the next one.